Well, let me put it this way. Now, I've made it very clear, and the chairman has also made it very clear, that if you look at the provisions of Section 178, subsection 2 of the Constitution, that particular section is problematic. It's problematic in the sense that the Constitution obligates the Commission to conduct governorship election within a certain period. It says you cannot conduct a governorship election 150 days before the terminal date of the incumbent, and not later than 30 days before the terminal date of the incumbent. Now, the implication is that we must conduct the election within this specified period. And the Supreme Court has said repeatedly that that particular provision is cast in stone, is immovable, and that if you are unable to conduct the election within that constitutionally circumscribed period, you cannot conduct the election anymore, and whatever you do becomes null and void. So, from our own point of view, there are only four options available to the country. The first option is to proceed and conduct the governorship election within the constitutional framework, and that's exactly what the Commission is pushing. The second option, which for me may not really be available in this circumstance, is the option provided in Section 180, subsection 3 of the Constitution, which says that if the Federation is at war, in which the territory of Nigeria is physically attacked, that the President can, in conjunction with the National Assembly, extend the tenure of the incumbent governor by an initial period of 6 months, pending the time that a situation is obviated. I believe that this is not available to us because I'm not too sure that the Federation is at war and no territory of Nigeria has been physically attacked in the true sense of the word. The second option that is available is the option under Section 191, subsection 2 of the Constitution, which says that if the governor and the deputy governor, for instance, have been impeached, or if one dies and the office of the governor and deputy governor becomes vacant, that the Speaker of the State Assembly can take over and complete the unexpired term of office of the incumbent. In other words, he can only operate within the confines of that 4-year period and no more. So if there's still gap, like 6 months, he has to conduct the election within 3 months, but it must fall within that 4-year period. And this one is not available. So the only option available, if we are unable to conduct the election, is the option under Section 305 of the Constitution, which says that if there is breakdown of law and order, or even threat of breakdown of law and order in the Federation or any part of it, and requiring extraordinary measures to restore order, that one, the President can impose a state of emergency through a proclamation. And under subsection 4 of 305, the governor, with the concurrence of 2/3 majority of the House of Assembly, can also request the President to impose a state of emergency if there's threat of breakdown of law and order or actual breakdown of law and order. But the President can also bypass the governor if within a reasonable time the governor does not make that particular request. The President can move ahead and impose a state of emergency. So the point I'm trying to make is that these ones has nothing to do with the Independent National Electoral Commission. These are powers that are reserved for the President, for the National Assembly, for the governor and the State Assembly.
Okay. So, but based on the reports that you've been getting, will it be necessary to declare a state of emergency with what we know so far?
Well, the business of the Commission is to organize, undertake, and supervise elections. It is the responsibility of the Nigerian police force to provide election security, because the police is the lead agency in terms of election security. The intelligence available to the Commission is not the intelligence available to the President. The level of intelligence and the level of security report available to the President is completely different from what is available to us. Our business is to insist that the voters must be adequately protected, that the election staff must be adequately protected, and that we should have a conducive environment for us to organize, undertake, and supervise elections.